There comes a time in every proud denim head's career where they watch their child grow, they make memories with them, they see them get better and better over time, they see them reach the potential that they once knew they could achieve, and then that fateful day comes where they finally have to wash their jeans. And recently, that was me and my favorite pair of raw selvage denim ever. Recently, after about a year and a half of owning my Sugarcane raw selvage denim, specifically their Hawaii jeans, I've gone through cycles of showing them a lot of love and then putting them down for a little bit and then showing them a lot of love again. And then recently I decided it was finally time to give them a wash, but I said, you know what, let me take them on one last ride before I make the irreversible step of finally washing the raw denim. And I decided to christen them back in the land from whence they came, and inadvertently they became my most worn pants on my recent trip to Japan, which was insane. And I finally decided it was only right to christen them in the waters of which these raw selvage denim jeans were born in. And unfortunately I couldn't get any footage of the actual washing, but I did get some footage before the wash while I was in Kojima, and we're gonna compare that with the footage that I got after the wash and I brought them back to New York. These jeans have probably seen about 150 wears total, which to a lot of people might not seem like all that much, but these jeans have definitely faded quite nicely over time, especially considering their natural indigo. And natural indigo historically, because of the lighter color as opposed to synthetic indigo, it is a lot harder to fade, and it is a lot harder to achieve high contrast fades because the natural indigo in and of itself doesn't really garner as dark of a color as the synthetic does. But these jeans definitely showed a lot of promise over time through wear, and they definitely changed quite nicely after the wash, and I'm excited to share those results with you today. So with that being said, let's get right into the Sugarcane Hawaii jeans before the wash at about 130 to 150 wears. The Sugarcane Hawaii jeans are probably the straightest, most timeless raw denim jeans fit that I've ever tried on. They are modeled after the Sugarcane 1947's fit, I believe. But what makes these jeans special is that not only are they dyed with natural indigo, but they're also made with 50% sugarcane and 50% organic cotton fibers on top of the natural indigo. It is a super streaky hand-loomed fabric with a green line selvage ID, a hand-done stitching on the back pocket, as well as a horsehide patch on the back that has the beautiful motif of a turtle as well as the aloha quotation stamped in, and this really helps round out the jean into such a super special piece. And on top of that, as the denim began to fade, I loved the electric blue that it started to get over time, and you really started to see the streakiness and the slubbiness of the fabric, that real low tension weave. And with that, you get a lot of variation in blue, a lot of variation with the different streaks of indigo color, and that's something to me that really makes this jean truly special. Now, I want to note that interestingly enough, before the wash, these jeans had a little bit of like a yellowish tint over them, something a little bit greener than you would otherwise see in red cast denim, because red cast denim, which is usually associated with synthetic denim, typically has a little bit more of like a purplish hue as opposed to a greenish hue, which most raw natural indigo pieces have, because natural indigo, believe it or not, actually starts off green. So this jean is starting to fall back into that purest form of the green indigo dye, which is something that I really love to see. That on top of just this beautiful electric blue that you're starting to get at the whiskering, as well as towards the knees, and even on the coin pocket, which is arguably where most wear on the jean is starting to show. And this is because throughout the entire trip I was carrying a lot of yen with me the whole time, a lot of coins. And if y'all use the vending machines as much as I do in Japan, y'all know y'all gonna be carrying around a lot of metal in your pockets. And that definitely started to show its mark while I was on the trip. It was something that I really expected to fade down beautifully after the wash, and we're gonna get there. But yeah, you could already see the signs of fading before we even went through the wash itself. You're also getting a super pronounced cell phone fade, which a lot of people don't like. I particularly don't care, because at the end of the day, these jeans are supposed to mirror your lifestyle, much like any raw denim is supposed to. And if you carry a phone, you carry a phone. If you carry a wallet, you carry a wallet. It's gonna show, and that's just the lifestyle that you live. And that's something that I made peace with, and I honestly don't think it looks all that bad. But with that, you're definitely starting to see a lot of that beautiful robin's egg kind of blue start to poke through where the cell phone is, as well as the whiskering. And you're even getting some pretty sharp whiskering even before the wash on the thighs. And you're definitely starting to see a lot of fading at the knees. Well, a lot is kind of relative, but you're starting to see that knee fade popping out quite nicely. You were also able to see a little bit of this kind of tension at the chain stitch hem. You're starting to see a little bit of that roping even before the wash, and that's because these jeans I typically wear uncuffed as opposed to most of my other jeans, just because for some reason when I cuff these jeans they look a lot slimmer than I like. So I tend to keep these uncuffed in specific because I just love that silhouette that it gives, which is why you see a lot of that roping on the hem. And then on the back you can definitely see a lot of that fading is starting to come out right towards the seat. I mean, it's super pronounced even before the wash. It gives a lot of character, especially to the pockets of the jeans, and I'm surprised to see that the hand stitching at the back pocket has not yet come out. Despite the amount of wear that I've given these jeans, this hand stitching is surprisingly sturdy, and that's definitely something to take note of when it comes to Sugarcane's construction. They really built these jeans to last, even though they're a low tension weave with a lot of handwork done. It's obvious that they took a lot of steps to make sure that these jeans are still jeans at the end of the day. They're still wearable, they're still durable, and they're gonna last a long enough time for you to be able to reap the benefits of the fade. Even on the back of the knees, you do get a little bit of that honeycombing, which is interesting as well, considering that I haven't really worn these as much as other people would before the washing. Granted, I tend to wash my jeans a little early and a lot more frequently than other people do because I personally prefer vintage fades as opposed to high contrast fades, but you're definitely starting to see those honeycombs coming out. But I will say, spoiler alert, you do see the honeycombs a lot more for some reason before the wash on these than you do after the wash. And I really don't know why that is, but it is just something that was super interesting to me because I've never really seen that. But yeah guys, eventually when I was finally able to wash these Sugarcane Hawaii jeans, I mean, I absolutely fell in love, especially with the way that they feel after the wash. Because admittedly, if you watch the first video that I did on these jeans, I believe I mentioned that at the beginning of the life of these jeans, because of the sugarcane fibers, they're a little bit scratchy and slightly uncomfortable to wear until you start to really break off that layer. After the wash, they feel like just a regular pair of cotton denim that's been softened up, that feels like a second skin, and it drapes even more beautifully than when I first got them, and even more so right before the wash. And with that, after washing the denim, you could really see that the blues have been given a new life, and you're getting a little bit of that yellowish kind of greenish look that we were mentioning earlier. Granted, I do like that kind of look, but what we got after the wash for the Sugarcane Hawaiis is still very beautiful, and honestly to me just looks a little bit more fresh and a little bit more clean. It doesn't necessarily look like a red cast fade because it definitely still has that natural indigo kind of flare, maybe a little bit of like a yellowish tint, but definitely not as much as it did before the wash. And I think that it's only going to garner more of that natural indigo kind of green overcast over time. And I really just love how much the blue started to poke out, especially at a lot of the different seams and the corners of these jeans. I mean, I'm talking about the belt loops, I'm talking about the waistband attachment, I'm talking about the seam at the front pockets, I'm talking about the front fly, and the coin pocket, like I said, where I was carrying all my yen, definitely started to fade down and show its true colors over time, and only even more so after the wash. The cell phone fade is also definitely a lot more apparent, as well as some of the whiskering. And I'd say the biggest change that I noticed on these jeans was just how much the whiskering at the thigh started to come out too. There is a lot of fading going on at those super sharp whiskers at the thighs. I mean, even more so than the whiskers at the top of the hips, right under the front pockets. I mean, these thigh whiskerings are super duper sharp and are very reminiscent of the robin's egg blues that you're starting to get at the coin pocket as well, which is giving these jeans a really nice character to them. You'll also notice that the knee fade is a lot more apparent and definitely has a lot more of that whitish tint as opposed to that yellowish kind of tint. And you'll notice that the denim is also a lot softer at the knee as well, so it's not as stiff as what it once was. And I'd argue to say that it even has a lot more luster than it once did as well. And again, this is is just the first wash, so it's definitely going to get a lot more wear, and it's definitely going to get a lot more washing over time, which means that it's going to fade more and more over time as well, and it's just going to get better and better. Moving down to the hem, I didn't really get as much roping as I thought I was going to get. I mean, you definitely got some of it, but I think because the hem started to fade overall as opposed to just the tension itself, you really don't see the roping as much. You just see that the entire hem itself started to fade, which is still beautiful in and of itself. But I was really kind of hoping for those roping fades. I mean, I'm still gonna get them, obviously. It's just gonna take a little bit more time, which is absolutely fine. I mean, this looks so good, and I'm surprised at how well these cuffs held up, considering that I wore them uncuffed pretty much the whole time that I've been wearing them. And usually when you do that, you start to get a lot of abrasion and a lot of ripping towards the hem, but these have stayed pretty much intact. And then moving on to the back, I mean, the belt loops, I mean, the waistband, the hair patch, everything just faded down and aged to perfection. I mean, this looks so good. This is the tension right at the yoke piece that I was looking for with the hem. I mean, this is so cool, and this just shows that when the hem finally fades down, you're really gonna get something fantastic. I mean, I cannot wait. Dude, the whole back to this jean just looks so incredible. Even the pockets at the corners, at the seams, as well as just the seat fade itself. I mean, you can see that these jeans were well worn even in their short lifespan that I gave them. And you can definitely see the promise that these jeans have and what's to come with the second and even the third wash. And I am gonna wash these a lot more frequently now, just to really brighten up the jean overall, because I love a nice vintage fade. But yeah, guys, like I said, moving down to the honeycombs, they were a lot more apparent for some reason before the wash than they are after the wash, which I don't really know why. Maybe it could just be because the creasing before the wash was so emphasized. It was a lot more stiff that you could just see the honeycombing more. I mean, you still see it, and it's probably going to come out more over time, especially as I wear these more and more. And no, I'm not disappointed at all. It was just something that was really interesting to me because I expected the honeycombs to be a lot more pronounced than they are. But yeah, I definitely think it's because they're not as stiff as what they once were before the wash. There's no starch in here anymore, but that is going to continue to fade down and give a lot more honeycombing over time. Yeah, man, I mean, all in all, the Sugarcane Hawaii jeans have definitely been a success under my belt. They're a pair of jeans that have served me very well through a variety of different situations, a lot of different trips that I've taken. I haven't really babied these. I've put them through a pretty fair amount of work considering their very minimal amount of wears, and I mean, I couldn't be happier with the results. These were actually, for natural indigo jeans, very fast faders, and they held up super well, a lot better than I thought they would, to be honest with you, especially considering how slubby and low tension the denim is. And again, the hand stitch nature of the back pocket, I'm surprised that's still fully 100% intact. But yeah, guys, all in all, I recommend the Sugarcane Hawaiis to anyone who wants a special pair of jeans, especially ones that are natural indigo dyed and are gonna fade with a color, a slub, and a look unlike you're gonna get from any other pair of jeans, and with the quality and craftsmanship that you expect from a Japanese made pair of denim jeans. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you made it to the end, I love y'all so much. And this was a video that I was planning for such a long time. I was so excited to do it, but I wanted to wait until I finally got to Japan because I wanted to christen these jeans in the waters from the country in which they were made in. I wanted to do it right, and I'm so happy that I was able to do it. It was super important to me. And guys, I mean, Japan was literally an insane trip. It was life-changing, and I took so much content and worked with so many different brands that you guys love, brands that you highly recommended that I worked with. And I have to say, without you guys, I never would have been able to get into the places that I got into. I never would have been able to work with the brands that I worked with to deliver you the content that's gonna be upcoming. And I could not be prouder of that, and I could not be more appreciative of your guys' love and support. And with that, I'm happy to announce the new season of this channel where we're gonna start getting real in-depth with the raw denim, real in-depth with the men's fashion, and we're gonna be working with a lot more brands over time to deliver some real exclusive fashion content. We're not just gonna focus on doing beginner stuff anymore. I mean, while that is important, I wanna give you guys something special. I wanna give you guys something different, and I want to show light on the artisanal craftsmen around the world, especially in Japan, and help keep the artisanal manufacturing industry of luxury fashion alive. And I'm hoping that together we can continue to do that over time. But yeah, guys, I'm so sorry I'm a little off this video. I literally just got off the plane from Japan. I am extremely jet lagged, or jisaboke, which is what they say in Japanese. And with that, I just want to give a huge thank you to you guys, and I want to give a huge thank you to the people of Japan, because I literally could not be more appreciative of the love that the country of Japan has shown me. Everybody treated me like family, and I really truly hope from the bottom of my heart that coming content is gonna not only entertain the viewers, but is gonna do right and make the culture and the country of Japan and their artisans, as well as their fashion connoisseurs, proud. Thank you guys so much. With that being said, I'm gonna get some rest. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.